The ultimate dark truth these four thinkers force us to confront is this: power is not awarded to the morally righteous. It is taken by the psychologically and strategically prepared. Every empire, every corporation, and every political dynasty is built on a single, dangerous force we call power. For most of history, we've engaged in the polite fiction that this force plays by the rules of justice, fairness, and universal ethics. But the deepest thinkers, the ones who truly mapped the brutal terrain of human nature, told us that was a comforting and ultimately debilitating lie. We are about to chart a course through the most controversial, manipulative, and unsettling ideas on power, starting with the chilling pragmatism of Niccolo Machiavelli. His work, The Prince, remains a lightning rod of controversy because it performs a surgical separation, utterly removing morality from the hands of the ruler and replacing it with one thing: necessity. Machiavelli's most notorious idea is that the ends justify the means, but his reasoning is far more subtle and dangerous than simple villainy. He insisted that a ruler must not strive to be good, but to appear good, arguing that a reputation for piety, integrity, and generosity is useful, but the actual possession of those virtues is often ruinous. In reality, a prince must be prepared to act against faith, against charity, against humanity, and against religion, if the preservation of his state, his power, requires it. His ultimate cold-blooded lesson is the choice between being loved and being feared. Machiavelli concludes, it is safer to be feared. Love, he observed, was based on the flimsy thread of obligation, which men, being inherently self-interested, will break whenever it is to their advantage. Fear, however, is based on the dread of punishment, and that dread is constant. It never forsakes you. The effective ruler, therefore, must combine the cunning of the fox to recognize traps with the force of the lion to frighten wolves, a fusion of intellect and brutality that rejects passive idealism for a relentless objective realism. If Machiavelli's power was purely political and external, Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of power was metaphysical, an all-encompassing, aggressive drive that he called the will to power. For Nietzsche, this is not merely the will to survive. It is the fundamental, insatiable drive that motivates all life to overcome, to grow, to dominate, and to express one's maximum potential, often at the expense of established order. The philosophical foundation for this radical idea was his declaration that God is dead, meaning the collapse of traditional religious and moral certainties had left a profound and terrifying void. This void is immediately filled by the will to power, the chaotic, creative, and destructive life force that has no external moral reference point. This led to his most controversial moral critique, the distinction between master morality and slave morality. Nietzsche contended that the moral framework of modern democratic societies, the emphasis on pity, humility, compassion for the weak, and equality, is actually a slave morality invented by the defeated and the timid herd to limit, guilt-trip, and ultimately render powerless the strong. The master morality, by contrast, simply judges actions as good based on what affirms its own life, strength, and creative will. The ultimate expression of the will to power is the Übermensch, or the overman. This figure is not a tyrant, but a self-mastered individual who creates his own transcendent values beyond the conventional good and evil of the herd. The deepest controversy here is that the Übermensch must first destroy the last man, the comfortable, mediocre modern consumer who seeks only security, comfort, and conformity. For Nietzsche, true power is the constant self-overcoming, the relentless forging of a destiny unburdened by external moral chains. We shift next from the battlefield and the metaphysics of life to the inner world, guided by Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology. Jung argued that our true relationship with external power is fundamentally determined by what we suppress within ourselves. Jung's core contribution is the controversial yet utterly necessary process of integrating the shadow. The shadow is the hidden, repressed, dark aspect of your personality. It holds all the selfish, aggressive, ambitious, and cunning qualities you have deemed unacceptable and forced into your unconscious. The good or naive person simply denies this shadow exists, burying it beneath a veneer of social acceptability. The controversial psychological truth, however, is this: the person who refuses to acknowledge their potential for evil is the most dangerous person of all. If you deny your shadow, it does not disappear. It gains autonomous power, projecting onto others as paranoia and making you a victim of unconscious, ineffective reactions in real-world conflicts. The truly powerful and effective individual is the individuated one who has consciously confronted, assimilated, and harnessed the raw energy and resourcefulness contained within their dark side. This allows the individual to access the king archetype, the aspect of the unconscious related to order, authority, and decisive action, without being possessed by it. Jung's lesson is that psychological power requires wholeness. You must accept the full spectrum of your being, including the ruthless, ambitious, and manipulative potential, to truly master your life and wield power consciously, rather than being passively ruled by your unacknowledged darkness. Finally, we arrive at the modern synthesis of these three dark philosophies. Robert Greene. Greene is Machiavelli's literary heir, taking the strategic ruthlessness of history and codifying it into timeless, amoral laws for the contemporary corporate and social environment. The enduring controversy of Greene's books, particularly the 48 Laws of Power, is not in their historical observations, but in their form. They are direct, amoral instruction manuals on how to manipulate and gain advantage. Laws like crush your enemy totally, conceal your intentions, and use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim explicitly reject the idea that you can succeed purely on merit or virtue. Greene's philosophy is controversial because it treats human interaction as a cold, strategic game of power, where the world is dangerous, people are motivated by envy and self-interest, and naivety is the primary sin. He argues he is not creating the evil or encouraging immorality, but merely describing the game as it has always been played by the most successful figures across all cultures and eras. His work is the accessible, tactical distillation of the ruthless principles observed by Machiavelli, the aggressive self-affirmation demanded by Nietzsche, and the psychological mastery required by Jung. In conclusion, this philosophical spectrum offers an inoculation against naivety. You do not have to use this knowledge to manipulate, but you must understand its mechanics so you are not manipulated. The power structure of the world is a brutal and indifferent machine. Your ultimate choice is between conscious power and unconscious powerlessness.